Hi, everyone, and welcome to Season 4, Episode 5 of High Scores, High Stakes, the podcast that carefully lines up its shots, adjusts its scope, eases the trigger, and misses every time. I'm your host, as always, Mr. Luvva Luvva, and with me are my co hosts.
Hi, how you doing, lover? What's the cooking? And what am I saying? Good to see you.
It's
I
good to know
love
that
Cardinals intros,
it's
they've
good to
never
know that
got
my
better.
meltdown from last week is like transferred into the panel above me now. This is brilliant.
It's a
Also,
fairest one each week.
Tomahawk here. How are we doing, guys? Another week, another gaming thing.
Podcast. Yeah.
That
The
one.
only
Yeah.
gaming podcast on the internet.
Yeah, don't,
So
don't
we
Google
tell
that.
everyone. Definitely not fact checked.
Unverified statistic. But yes, we are back. Season 5 is nearing the midpoint. And I can't believe that. This has flown by. And not in a good way, because I'm still bottom of the league.
As it stands.
There's time
As it
yet.
stands.
Time yet.
There is plenty of time. But what we don't have is plenty of time to explain to the audience what High Scores, High Stakes is. So let's get through this nice and quickly. High Scores, High Stakes is three friends competing against each other in a gaming league table. Every week we pick a new game on PlayStation. Every week we create a gaming challenge in that game. And every week we gain points for our position in the league table. Winner gets 3 points. Second place gets 2 points. Third place gets 1 point. At the end of the season, whoever is sitting top of the league wins the coveted, always modelled by Cardinal _Smith, the High Scores, High Stakes Cup. Cardinals won 2. I've won 1. Tom has won 0 of them. But this season, he's going for the throat. He's cheating every single week. Every single week.
Shut up.
It's a
new-
fantastic storyline.
It's an arc that
And-
I have had thrust upon me more than anything.
Well, you say thrust upon you, but purposely running in front of my machine gun in Helldivers 2, and then not showing your character permanent upgrade screen and Vampire Survivors. And I can't remember the one in between, but there was definitely another one in there.
Extending the Gran Turismo challenge submission deadline by a week.
Just
Who
so
did
you
that
can-
benefit? Didn't benefit anybody in the end, so I
You
still
say
did
that.
it early.
But yes, that is what High Scores, High Stakes is. If you want more High Scores, High Stakes content throughout your week, because 1 hour and a little bit isn't enough to satiate your needs, you can find us all over the internet. We are all over the internet. We are everywhere, all the time,
Unrelenting.
every time. If you want to find out where we are on sites like Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, Discord, TikTok, where we are everywhere. Rather than me give you a whole host of links though to get you to those sites, just go to highscoreshighstakes.com. On top of the homepage, you'll find a little icon for every one of those sites I've just listed off. Click it and be whisked away to a world of unique content. And whilst you're at it, click that YouTube link and hit the subscribe button. It could really help us out there.
I would.
But that is what we are. That is where we are. And now it's time for what we do. Oh,
I'm going to interrupt you because I'm going to keep you right here. You didn't do the league table.
I
We haven't
didn't do
given
the league table.
You haven't
But
done
I
the
was
state of
getting to
play.
that. I was getting to that Tomahawk. I said, what we do is compete in the league table. Here's how the league table looks after 4 episodes of season 4. In third place on 15 points is me. In second place on 17 points is Cardinal. And first place with 19 points, but also with an asterisk on top of that 19 points, is Tomahawk. You're leading the way. 3 unscrupulous means you are the Luis Suarez of this podcast. Win by any means necessary. But where he bit people,
I've
you
just
took the bite from a machine gun.
I've just took the words from Cardinal from the previous seasons. We're too nice to each other. We need a little bit of ruthless competition, and if it just happens to be me who decides to implement that, then so be it.
Tom's the
Spoken from-
antagonist.
Spoken from the foundation, the new foundation of the podcast.
The NWO of the podcast.
What,
Can't wait for
what's happened
Sting.
in previous seasons is Tom historically has been talked out of games, talked around scoring systems that have inevitably left the worse off. And this season, he's trying to stand up for himself. I need to get the enemy arc storyline, which
Love it.
I'm entirely here for.
I think he deserves it because Tomahawk has been unscrupulous this season. Every week, outside
Some
of the
sort of
realms of the
coincidental
recording.
mishap.
But anyway, Tomahawk is leading the way after 4 weeks, 19 points, asterisks. It is really, really tight in fairness. I think there's 4 points between top and bottom. It is really, really, really tight. I know I said that in the lead up to this that 3-2-1's our point system. We have only
Seldom.
done that once this season. Every
Yeah.
week has had bonus points or double points weeks or points for every metric under the sun. I'm not going to spoil what our score metrics is for this week, but it is not 3-2-1.
It is 3-2-1 at its core. With
3-2-1 is hard.
additions.
and subtractions. But yes, before we get into the challenge game, which is of course Sniper Elite 5, because they're still making them apparently. What I want to know, Cardinal Smith, what are you playing?
Oh, love it. I'm glad you asked because this week I have discovered a game called Phasmophobia. I
Oh,
don't
never
know
heard
if
of
you have
that.
ever played it before.
No,
Can't say I've
never
ever
heard of it. What's it about?
It's about it's a little spooky game where you're a ghost hunter and you have to go find out what kind of ghost is haunting a certain building, and play with friends if you like. But rather than me drag on about it at one game, I want to ask Tomahawk, what are you playing?
So I have been using twitch.tv in a bid to gain affiliateship for the High Scores High Stakes podcast by playing a little game. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it. It's called Phasmophobia.
Never heard of
Oh,
it. Yeah, what's
wow,
that
what's
about?
that?
It's a 4-player co-op in which you play a few ghost hunters. You go to a specified location and you have to try and find out which ghost is haunting which location. You
Wow.
have many means of instruments to track the ghost, to locate the ghost, and interact with the ghost. It's a great wee game. But enough about what I'm playing. Luvva, tell me, what are you playing?
Well, I have been playing a little indie horror game. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's basically, do you remember that TV show, Haunting Live? Remember that? Where they
Yeah,
used to
yeah,
go
I
to
recall.
houses and look for ghosts, and used to have Derek Acora talking to the spirits and all that sort of stuff. It's kind of like that. It is called Phasmophobia.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah,
What's it
so
about?
so basically, you are a ghost hunter, a team of ghost hunters. It's an online multiplayer game. You visit houses. It's being hunted by a particular type of spirit, and you have to look for clues and find out what type of ghost is hunting that premises. It is incredible.
Sounds riveting. But in all honesty, though, this game has like we all kind of collectively said we'd buy it, and I was a really bit hard pressed to do so because I've said a few times now I thought this was going to be like a one and done, and it will lose its charm pretty instantly. I fully said on stream that this could very well be our new community game, and we are sort of having the idea of maybe doing a weekly stream of it and just kind of, as I think I said to my brother, use it as a team building exercise.
Yeah, yeah. It is fantastic. We did stream it on Tuesday night.
Tuesday past
Um,
this point in
yeah,
release, yeah.
yeah, on Tuesday night, and it was an incredible experience
So
for
much
for
fun.
all concerned.
It's so spooky. It's
Yes,
so
really.
subtly creepy, and it gets more creepy the longer it goes on and more stuff happens.
Yeah,
Oh my
and
goodness.
all the different types of ghosts that are procedurally generated, so it's never the same ghost in the same location. And I think there's 24 different types of ghosts in it.
Something like
They
that,
all
yeah.
have
12
they
different
all have
maps too, yeah.
they all have unique mechanics. No two ghosts are the same. They all can do different things. They all have ways of messing with you, and then eventually come to kill you if you stay too long. It is
No, it was brilliant. Really,
brilliant,
really good. And it's
brilliant. But
like
yeah,
for 15 quid, I thought that was a steal, really. And from what I've been looking online for it, the devs are constantly at it and they're constantly listening to like user feedback. So
mhm.
I think with a little bit of nurturing, this could be a game that sort of that'll last, especially with that 4-player co-op element as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Good
mean, it
party
is.
game.
I think at the time of recording this, it is 4 years old. The game is four
What?
years old. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's been on Steam for a very long time.
But
When
it's
it
only
launched
just released on consoles, right?
on
Yeah,
PlayStation and Xbox, it released on the 30th of
30th
November,
of
or was it
October. Yeah,
Yeah, it was Halloween, wasn't it? But yeah, no, it is fantastic. As Tom says, we are hoping to stream it once a week and fill a lobby with you guys as well if you want fancy it. I think we have been talking about making a Discord server, so if you want to play, get yourself in there. Um, and yeah, it's crossplay, so PC, Xbox, or PlayStation can all play together. It does create its own issues, but the game it's unfinished. It's early access, but it is amazing fun, and as Cardinal says, it is genuinely quite terrifying.
yeah. That's. I find if Cardinal Smith is willing to play a spooky game on the regular, then it
It must be
must be good.
yeah, and it is. It's fantastic. It is fantastic, but enough.
Well, I just want to say the reason what makes a difference between phasmophobia is it gives me the opportunity, if I need to run away to a
To run
van.
away.
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah.
Running away to a van is a
If I
viable tactic on a
if I
lot of
survive.
occasions. I just hate when something really scary is about to happen and you remember you forgot something really important in the back of the van. You have to go get it because it's super important for the mission.
Oh yeah. That's
Oh
it. You need it
man, the
to identify
thermometer. I
the
need
ghost.
to get back. Yeah.
Oh, I left my wand back
I
in the
will say
hut.
it was a laugh when we were playing it in game chat, and then we moved to the in-game chat. The
Hmm.
proximity stuff is excellent, and it just adds that extra layer
Yeah.
into it. Because I went off the last game I played. I went off to go turn the camera on and then reactivate it, and I'm sitting there going, "Right, see you later, guys." Oh wait, you can't hear me. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. It is so good. But yeah, if you want to catch more Phasmophobia whilst we get everything set up for the community sort of aspect of it, Tuesday nights is what we're chatting about at the
I
minute.
think so.
A tentative every Tuesday night. We will be playing it on twitch.tv. So check it in. That is not the only game we've all been playing this week because there is one more game we have been playing.
Oh
And it
wow.
is, of course, this week's challenge game, which is Sniper Elite 5. And
Oh,
the challenge this week was a co-op lobby in survival. So I say we leave the scary ghost things behind and we get straight into the headshot arama that Sniper Elite 5 provides. So let's get there now. And here we are, gentlemen. The challenge game, Sniper Elite 5. I was going to say 3. 5. And what we're doing tonight is a simple one. We are doing a co-op survival. All we have to do is beat wave upon wave of Nazi soldiers and not dying in the process. The
Simple.
points are being marked up very simply. Well, it starts simple, but it gets a wee bit complicated, and this is all of Tom's fault, to be honest. Whoever scores the most points on the last wave is the winner. Whoever scores the second highest points throughout the entire challenge is second place. Whoever scores the least amount of points in the challenge is third place. It's simple. But wait, there's more. There's
There's
bonus
always
points.
more.
There's negative points. There's a lot of points on top here. So obviously, 3, 2, 1 is going to be dictated by the overall scores of each of us throughout the duration of the challenge. And then there's going to be one bonus point for the player that revives the most. And then there's going to be another bonus point for the player who gets the longest distance kill. And then, just to add a little bit more zest to this spicy, spicy soup, whoever dies the most will receive -1 point. It's
Seems
why
fair.
is the
simple.
soup got to be so spicy?
It has to be spicy. This is season 4. If you want tame, bland, flavorless soup
Give me
with
my broth.
with just a bog standard 3-2-1 scoring format, you're in the wrong season. We're not doing that,
Ah.
apparently.
Well, that's it. Drop a host, change the score format, throw the score format out the window. Bonus point, bonus point, bonus point. That is the best way I think that we need to go about doing this. And plus the distance bonus point is a really, really good one because it's a sniper game, so it seems to be a major mechanic in the game. So why not celebrate it a little bit?
Exactly. Exactly. Let's separate the Jude Laws from a bad sniper, shall we? Longest distance. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be
That's an
fun.
enemy at the walls reference.
Yeah.
Enemy at the gates?
Gates. I thought you made a
Absolutely,
joke.
Gates.
Not even. Move on.
So we'll catch
I
it in
thought
the
that
edit.
was the old cardinal thing of purposely get a reference wrong, but no, apparently it was just an incorrect
It is.
reference.
It is the old cardinal thing of just getting reference wrong. It's called just getting them wrong.
Right, so Sniper Elite 5, I think I said at the tail end of last episode, are they still making these games? Which shows you my history of Sniper Elite. It's a series I've always been aware that exists. Always fancy like, giving it a go. Never have, because it's a shooter, and I have minus interest in shooters these days. Used to, have any of you two ever played this or any of the games in this series before?
It's a weird one that shows up on the PlayStation Plus library every year or so, at least anyway. So I have, because of PlayStation Plus, pretty sure I have Sniper Elite 3, 4, and now 5.
Oh,
I've
wow.
only ever done the tutorial ever, and then as you say,
Mhm.
Love It, it's very much a shooter with a little bit of a stealth element.
Yeah.
And then I then raise an alarm pretty much instantly, lose interest, uninstall. I think this season was as good a time as any to try it at least. Because
Yeah.
who knows? It's something not in our wheelhouse, and we can make it a little bit entertaining, I guess.
Yeah. It's definitely, we haven't covered many shooters here on this. We haven't played many shooters on this podcast at all. Quick COD and Back for Blood.
Pretty much.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Cardinal
God,
getting
we've already covered
Nam,
it twice.
getting Nam flashes of
There was some
Back 4
random
Blood.
game we played season 3. It was a bit per, but it was a first person shooter.
I
Can't
don't
remember the
remember.
name of it.
It'll be in the
Can't
thread
remember.
somewhere.
Just to scroll down on Spotify to find a shitter in season 3. But Cardinal, I take it you've never played this game before.
No, sir. Just seen clips.
To be fair, it seems up your street. Historical game. It has a map in the bottom left-hand corner. It has a
Oh, that
compass.
I do love
ticks
I
that.
mean,
all of the Cardinal boxes, if nothing else.
Do you know? I really like the like Battlefield, the sort of and the old Battlefield 1. No, I mean the new old
The
Battlefield
new
1.
Battlefield 1, yeah.
Yeah, and things like that. So historical shooters with like basic rifles, really like it. And I always like sniping in games, in shooter games. That's my
yeah.
go-to. So, it's, and and spoilers, I quite enjoyed this game.
Yes,
So
no,
did
I definitely did. Once we got into a lobby and actually were playing together and figuring out the maps
Yes.
and how we're going to kind of work and score this. Also, it just came to me. Bulletstorm was the game that we did in season 3.
That was it. That's right.
Um,
Didn't like it.
but irrelevant. Yeah, I think this was fun and it looked gorgeous. The game looks and plays
Mhm.
great, and some of the mechanics in the game's gory as all hell.
Yes. Yes, the 3D
Like
sort
the
of
bullet
X-ray
time thing,
shot
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I will say about this game is it takes a lot of getting used to because the control scheme is awful. The control scheme is super confusing.
It's not siphon
So
filter confusing. But
I
I
don't
did
know.
have to reference the controller scheme buttons and
There's
layout
there's a
a good
lot
few
of
times.
A lot going on.
pushing the wrong button to do the wrong thing, and the
And you have to
radial
hold the
dials.
button to do the right thing and set the dial. And then you look through the scope and you change the zoom and the meter
That
range. And
that killed me all the
I
time.
actually thought of all the control, the dialing your scope was the most intuitive of the whole thing, because it was like literally use left or right or up and down on the D-pad, and that was it, and it was on the screen all the time. My big issue with the game, control-wise, was the radial dial was really sensitive. There was a number of times that I have tried to lay a mine, but the radial dial has changed it to a grenade, and I end up just dropping a grenade at my foot, not
Oh,
even
the
noticing it,
dial.
blow yourself
Yeah,
up.
the dial was pretty annoying,
Oh,
especially when you were like having to pick bandages and then it would pick
yeah.
something else in
The
like
medipack or
either
whatever,
side of
yeah.
it. Yeah, and it would just become something that you didn't need at that moment.
yeah.
So a bit of a pain, especially when you're trying to the very few opportunities you get to run and gun, it
Hmm.
became a bit of a hindrance when you're trying to
Yes, yeah,
swap in real time. Yeah.
yeah, but it is a really fun game, and we did have a lot of fun. I think we've talked enough about it. Shall we get to the gameplay?
Let's see it.
Let's do it.
Let's go. And here we are, the gameplay. We'll keep it short, we'll keep it simple, because I've just seen the runtime in this video is 43 minutes.
I'm hitting play right now. We're
we
underway.
yes, we will skim over this. This map is called Prime Real Estate. It is the second map in the selection of survival mode. Basically, as I said at the start, this is survival mode. It is in 4 phases, 2 or 3 waves per phase, and then you move location. Every location that you move to, the distance from which the enemies spawn from you gets smaller, and the available cover to you becomes less and less and less.
Yeah.
It does push you into close quarters combat as the deeper you go into survival. But here we are. I want to know your tactics, gentlemen, because we did set up pretty nicely. We talked to one another. We're like, okay, how are we doing this? And we decided there was
First
three
kill.
of us, and we would each sort of keep an eye on one of the cardinal points. So tell me what your actual tactics were, because as we'll soon see, I think teamwork wasn't great at
Wasn't
times
our
in this
strong
challenge.
suit. No, communication did go out of the window pretty quickly. I think what me and Cardinal have gone and done straight away is find a pocket of enemies and just go
Gun them.
and just start gunning them down. Just start banking some kills and some points here.
Hmm.
Absolutely. You find a window shooting from it towards wherever they're coming from. Get whittle them down. We're already down to 10 enemies remaining. Though, to be fair.
Yeah, I think it's only 16 in the first wave though.
It
So,
is quite good though, because I think it starts off at like 10, like 8 or 10 in the if you're playing solo, and then it
hmm
like accommodates each player coming into a lobby. So I think the maximum is 4. So it'll by then I think it'll be 20 people in 20 enemies in that first wave as well. So it's a real intuitive game in terms of, a multiplayer situation.
yeah, and it's really interesting. The mechanics in this one's really interesting. So, if
We've one
on
complete.
my screen I am on a rooftop just above a courtyard. In that courtyard is our caches, or like our ammo resupplies, or
Yeah.
grenades, or medi packs, all that sort of stuff. What the enemies are trying to do is trying to get into this outlined in a blue box. They're trying to get in there to detonate the cache, so we can't restock between every round. And it is a case of trying to stay central enough, but in a place where you can see where they're coming from, so you can stop them from destroying your ammo. Really, because then you're on a real losing streak if you let them blow it
That's
up.
it. I know, because I was under the impression originally that once the cache was taken or destroyed, it would just move you into the checkpoint B. But no,
Nope.
you then have to just defend a fiery wreck for 2 or 3 more
Yeah.
waves, which I thought
Yeah.
ups the stakes a bit because then you have to do an awful lot of resource management. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was quite a cool wee surprise to have in
So
that.
so what I did here was I accidentally dropped a grenade on myself right as the wave starts. And here's Luvva's opportunity to get the first revive
There we go.
of the round.
Consummate team player. He wasn't even
On the
thinking about the
board.
bonus points. I was thinking about, because I could just let you die there. That would be one death for you. You'd be on the verge of a minus point. But no,
True.
consummate team player. So this is the second wave. It started off with 26 enemies, and they've come in from exactly the same direction. And that
Yes.
is me with the longest shot so far, 116.3. Tomahawk
I've
is
just
just
taken it
one
over.
up me with a 130.1 meter shot. That is
I
incredible.
tell you what, though,
So
it's
it is.
satisfying when that notification comes up in that chime and it just lets everybody know that you've gone and done that. then
Yeah.
Cardinal has got an update again there. So like
132.
when
About
the
1
long
meter.
distance shooting works, it's so satisfying.
I
And then
think
on the other side of things is you can miss a shot from like 50 yards, and it's
yeah,
so like, oh, what am I doing?
yeah, I think the sniping mechanics are great. I think everything feels really good. You do have to have your scope set up properly to sort of the situation that you're in. If you have your scope too zoomed in, then your turning speed's really, really, really slow. I am currently bleeding out. Tomahawk
another
isn't even
revive.
interested. I'm noticing that. Absolutely zero interest in helping his teammates.
So there's a laugh to that. I kind of got a lot confused and muddled with a lot of the controls. And rather than turn around and try and go and help you, I accidentally vaulted out of the window.
Hmm
So
Yeah, let me just tell you. Let me just tell you. Raised Luvva there, and I immediately got put down because I was in the
Yep.
firing line, and he just ran off. He
No, I
just
ran
ran
off
off.
to
I
heal. I was being
I
shot at
took
as soon as I got
down
back up.
I took down a couple of enemies while I was bleeding out, and he let me die. So there's minus
terrible.
1 point
That
already
is
for
that
me.
is not factual. I was being shot at when
And
I revived. You revived with 1/3 of your health. I went into the building to heal so I could run back out to revive you.
you
I
didn't
got
run back
taken
out.
down inside the building.
He
I
never
got
came
taken down.
back.
Right,
I got
let's
taken
not get
down.
bogged down on who didn't revive who, and let's have a look. We've got 7 enemies left. We are being boarded as such. We have enemies in the house. They are closing in on our cache, and there's a bit of work to do here. We're having to resort to the automatic weapons now.
Yep, yep. And there is this really nice mechanic here that I think we forgot to talk about. If you can hear the enemy, so if you hear them shoot or if you hear them talk to one another, whatever, it makes like a white outline and you can see them for a short
Yeah.
period of time through the environment, and it allows you to get like the jump on enemies. It's a really smart, there's a lot of really good mechanics in this game that you don't often see anymore. The big one there, you just see me. If you can fire through soft cover, so you can fire through wooden beams, you can fire through hay
Yeah.
bales and all that good stuff. And I think that's really, really, it's a cool game. It is a cool game.
Oh no,
And they're,
the small shield mechanic was quite good. Apart from, I think I had a shot there just before the end of that wave where the soldier was saved by the bullet not going through the banister. So
Mhm.
they
Yeah.
Oh
had a
yeah, the
few.
banister was invulnerable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every other piece of
You
wood in
see
the
your
game.
bullet like go through bone and various organs and stuff. A banister,
A banister is
Yeah.
completely that.
titanium.
Maybe they
It's
could have won the
mahogany,
war
boys.
if they kitted all their tanks out in banisters
Yeah.
material.
So that is wave 2 completed. We are now in wave 3, the final wave of Checkpoint Alpha. And it started already. There was no prep time at all. It's just like, okay, we're going. Let's go. And they're coming in
Yeah.
from, again, the exact same direction. So I have my eyes on 3 of them as they run into a farmyard. They're behind a brick wall. There's no point in shitting them. And I think Cardinal and Tom are still trying to find someone to kill. That's another mechanic I forgot about. I just saw it on my screen. If you shoot someone non-fatally, they become incapacitated, and you can use them as bait, like that scene in Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, it's
Just
cool because like you'll get a few options of like the soldier will try and carry them away, or they'll try and do CPR in like in the field as such. So you
Mhm.
can it primes you for like doubles or triple kills, which boosts the score massively.
Yeah, yeah. So I have also just noticed that this wave introduces new enemies. The big
Yes.
one that gets introduced here are enemy snipers. So enemy snipers, I love this mechanic as well. They're always hidden. You don't know where they're shooting you from. You have to sort of scan your environment, and what you're looking for is the little flash from either their muzzle or their scope. The glass in the scope will make it flash, and it's just a great mechanic.
Yeah, and this one was quite funny because the position of the enemies can be a bit randomly like generated. I think in one run we had the 2 snipers pretty close together, nearly acting as like a spotter and a shooter.
hmm
Whereas this
hmm
one, I think they had on two opposite sides of the map, so you're having to sort of strategize a little bit finer in this
Yeah,
map, at
and
least anyway.
one thing I will say about enemy snipers is the one thing I will say about this game is the AI is a little bit busted. Um, Enemy snipers can seemingly see you in a split second. They can lock onto you in a second or two, and they can annihilate you. Their bullets do crazy damage to you.
Yeah.
Um, whereas they're hard to see. I also find at times in this game the enemy AI is really good at sort of flanking and sort of avoiding sniper fire. But when they would get into close quarters, sometimes they can forget you're there. Like literally,
Yes.
if
No,
you run
absolutely.
into the next room, they sometimes will follow you. Sometimes they'll just stop and go back from whence they came, or just stand there, like as if they've forgotten that you're there. So I think
Couple
you're
of
taking out
revives there.
one of the
Tom's
snipers
down
here.
again.
Tom is
This is it.
bleeding
This
out.
is this is the really funny one because we spent so much time trying to get the sniper that we basically
Mm-hmm.
put ourselves in a little bit of a kill. Well, I say we. I put myself in a little bit of a kill box here, and I was so focused on trying to get this sniper and potentially a longest kill that I've A forgotten that there's a tank inbound, and
Yeah.
B I'm forgetting that there are points on offer for being the good Samaritan.
Yes, yes, you always have to keep in mind the points. But don't worry, I've remembered. I'll revive you, Tom. It's two.
After I've revived you.
Yeah.
Now, here's the problem. There's five enemies remaining. Two of them are snipers, and three are in a tank. So
Yeah.
we are pretty bogged down at this stage. And I'm also bleeding out as well, which is a nice feature.
Yeah, I think I'm bleeding too. Yeah, the only way to stop bleeding, obviously, is with the bandages. But yeah, Tom is shitting the brickwork of a building there repeatedly. I like the
Yeah,
idea.
I definitely noticed that I had the wrong distance set on my scope, but
Hmm.
I rather than amend it, I thought I'll just compensate, which didn't work.
Yeah. So on my screen there, you just saw an example of the enemy AI knowing where you are. I ran into a room inside a building, and the sniper has shot me through the world's smallest window from 300 meters away and took me down. I am currently bleeding out in a big pile of rubble. Tomahawk is
Yeah.
bleeding out on stairs, and Cardinal is running around trying to find us. I think at this
Mine
point in
was
the
really
game, we were
funny. I
screaming in
hit
the
the
group chat.
stairs. That's it. I hit the stairs to go up top there, and the tank fire from the outside wall. The shockwave is what downed me, and because my health was
Yeah.
so low at the time, it basically just cripples you quite
Yeah.
quickly. Yeah,
The
Yeah, one
tanks
shot.
are hard. They're difficult enemies,
they're
so they
tough.
are. I am lining up this enemy sniper who's been giving us nightmares. I've hit him, and
New
Cardinal
longest
Smith has
shot.
just set the new longest shot.
Oh, I
And
love
then
this as
Luvva has
well.
Instantly,
just
instantly beaten by me. 173.6 is now the score to beat.
that's impressive.
173.6. It's a good shot.
I know.
We have
What's annoying is I had it there. You know.
for a split second 155. I think yours was there 155,
Yeah.
and then just straight away, beaten by the big dog. But now we have a problem. We have three enemies left, and all three of them are inside a tank. I think this tank battle goes on for quite some time.
Yes. So what we'll
I
do is we're going to pause it there
yeah.
and consider that the end of the
Oh
round.
yeah, yeah. It goes
Um,
on for ages. Spoiler alert: we do blow it up, but it takes a long time. And Tomahawk, I think you die here, didn't you?
I did, yes.
Yeah, you got run over
I
by the
think
tank.
I went to drop a grenade or something on it, and
Yeah,
it turned, and it didn't even so much run me over. I just walked into its like hitbox, and my character reacted with the death motion. The tank technically didn't really touch me,
yeah.
so it
So
was a bit annoying.
I think at the end of checkpoint alpha, the scores are as follows. In first place on points is Cardinal Smith with 11,830 points. Tomahawk is in second with 10,705 points. And I am in third place with 9,845. So there is about 2,000 points between first and third as it stands at the end of Checkpoint Alpha. It is set up lovely. Absolutely lovely. I think for revives, I think Tom, you died once there. I think Cardinal's leading the way with revives. I think he has 3 to my 2, maybe 4 to my 2. And I don't think Tomahawk, you may have 1 from reviving me. I think you revived
I've
me
I
one
think
or
earlier.
Tomahawk's
two at
actively
least,
hoped
yeah.
we'd die. You know,
Yeah.
It never crossed my mind once. I like to think I'm a team player here, but
Well, I don't know. I haven't
He
really
likes to
seen much
think that.
evidence of it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, but anyway, speaking of not seeing much evidence, I have a fair idea that the reviews for Name That Game are not going to give us much evidence to name that game. But I say, why ponder it? Let's just go there now. Let's get to name that game.
Let's live it.
cool. Good evening, guys, and welcome to another edition of Name That Game.
Whoop, whoop.
The scores are a little bit close for my liking. 4 apiece. The last time I checked, Luvva came in with this notion that he was going to walk away with a whitewash, I believe.
not going to score
Perfect season. But I
Not
jinxed that by
quite.
saying I'm going to have a perfect
We
season.
have been. I think that what was episode 1 was 2-0 Luvva, then episode 2 was 2-2, and then you've been kind of just jockeying back and forth there, naming some games anyway. But what we'll do
Pulling the
if this
scores
is
off each other all season long.
absolutely
That's gonna be the thing.
what I
Game
will
with those
say
names.
is absolutely what I will say if this is somehow the first episode anyone's ever watched of High Scores High Stakes, I have been tasked with the amazing ability of looking at Amazon game reviews, picking out the weird, the wonderful, the obscure, and having my co-hosts name the game. We will just get straight into game number 1 then. So this was
Ooh,
given
wow.
a 1-star review.
1 star.
That's low.
That is very low. That is
Not a good
as low
game.
as low as Amazon
bad
will
game.
allow you to review.
Okay.
I'll get onto the gameplay, etc. But firstly, and more importantly, the vast majority of features for this game are locked behind internet connection, including the offline My Career, and that's why I just can't give it more than 1 star. The game is incomplete, empty, and a cash grab. The servers have been down multiple times, leaving the game unplayable. When the servers are shut down for good, which is looking like 2026, the game will not be worth the plastic it comes in. The gameplay is fantastic, but that's where the positives end. This game is so heavily focused on microtransactions, the features are absolutely bare bones, very dull, and an empty career mode. I haven't played online, so I can't comment on this. The roster is also extremely small. If it doesn't you that this game will be unplayable as early as 2026, then go for it, but I'd recommend waiting for a sale. Cardinal Smith, Mr. Luvva Luvva, name that game. I also like that last sentence tripped me up about how poorly it was put together as a sentence.
If it doesn't bother you, I think it's meant
I
to say.
imagine that's what they're meant to say, but I think
Yeah.
Lobby was so enraged by that game
Yeah.
they couldn't
Mhm.
even string a sentence together.
I feel. Well, can I just say, if you say the gameplay is fantastic,
Yeah.
I don't think you can logically give a 1-star review because you have certain feelings about how a service is being
Yeah.
provided. But anyway,
Yeah, but
uh,
it's what comes with the fantastic gameplay, or in this case, what doesn't come with it. I think I have an idea of what this is.
could be a number of games.
It could be any number of games because I think it's an annual release title. I am going to go with. I don't know what the game's called, but it is that 2K basketball game. Like it's probably like NBA 20 something, 22. I don't know. what the
Cardinal
game's called.
Smith, would you like to name a game?
I'm going to go a similar line, and I'm going to stick with the same group, but call it Topspin 2K.
Ooh,
And that's because he says roster.
my. Oh yeah,
is
it's an
per-
American term though. The Americans use
Yeah,
roster for
well,
everything.
yeah. But it could be an American review. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm really Love is going to shout at me on this one, but I'm going to give the point to Cardinal Smith.
Why? Did he name the
Oh,
game?
He
Is it
he did, but I need tiny little bit more.
Topspin
Just
2K25?
probably yeah. Okay. He was gonna get it. I think my thought was he was gonna get there, and a clue would have been completely irrelevant. But yes, the first game was Topspin 2K25.
So it's name that game with help from the host. That's fair. We'll just change the name of the game. Name that game once the host tells you the name of the
Thing
game.
is,
Okay.
you also
Name
said
name a similar game. Name that
that being
similar
said, love
game.
it, love it, love it. Let's put it this way: if you
Whoa,
had
whoa, whoa.
said, if I
I
had
held up.
reviewed NBA 2K, I would have then said the same thing to you. I need a little bit more. I'm going to give you the point, but if I need you to give me a little bit more, I would have done the exact same for you. You were on the same track, same sport game. You just, the year.
I mean,
You
Look,
also
Luvva,
with a top
he
spin game. We haven't
asked.
had a top spin game in a long time, so
True. True. And Luvva, he asked
I'm
for a
not
little
saying
bit
anything
more.
else.
I gave it to him.
You give him a lot more.
First time.
Tom give you a lot too.
You know?
Anyway, do you know what there's going to be a lot of? Headshots in the second round of Sniper Elite 5. Let's get there now. And here we are. Checkpoint beta in Sniper Elite 5. It is pretty close right now. In fact, there's 100 points. I misread your points from the first round. There's 125 points between Tomahawk and Cardinal. Cardinal's on 11,830. Tomahawk's on 11,705. And I'm on 9,845. It is all to play for. And if memory serves me right, in this one, Cardinal and Tomahawk geared up really quick and then took the best two sniping positions in the map and didn't even care.
sounds about right.
Didn't
Yeah, to
even
be
care.
honest. This also, I think, was the first time we actually had got to Checkpoint
Y- y-
Bravo as well.
Yes, I've
Yeah.
never played this section before, so it was like, I've taken a good position. Okay, good to know.
It was
So
funny though because we had gone through a few like versions of this and how we were going to run it and score, and then obviously in high scores
Here it
fashion
comes.
we changed a lot of the metrics. So
Mhm.
uh, we were like, "Oh, we'll only get as far as the first checkpoint and it'll be fine." And we're like, "Oh no, we're in part B now."
Yeah. So the way this works is we're still in the same map, but our cache position has moved just it's literally just across the road.
Yeah.
Like,
What's really
but
funny
we
though is when you look at it on the map selection, it looks like it's like 3/4 of the map away. So the perspective's a little bit off, but
yeah.
it's quite nice. It
Yeah.
just gives you, because the map's quite confined, but it just gives you a little fresh perspective on it then.
It just pushes you that wee bit closer to the enemy. It gives you just that wee bit less hard cover and things like that. It's just sort of a gradual escalation in difficulty. There's also more enemies as well, and the enemies are generally tougher. I think from the last round, every round now will have at least one sniper, and we will have at least one armored vehicle per round now. So it is
Good
escalating really,
heavens.
really
Yeah.
nice. So it is. It's a funny wee game. Um, it gets
This,
difficult very quick, and you can what's the word I'm looking for? Sort of paint yourself in a corner. If you make one wrong move, it only takes about 3 bullets to knock you down, 4 bullets to kill you. So any minor mistake can be absolutely fatal, and you have that in the back of your head all the time. If I run around this corner without checking it first, I could get killed, and that would
Yeah.
be a potential -1 at the end of this challenge. So I played this game really, really conservatively, a lot more conservative than what you and Cardinal did.
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
well,
we
I mean,
definitely
I
went running
found
gunning.
in this level there was suddenly more points of access that they had to get to me because I was at a sniping position at a window, and
Hmm
there was a door beside me that someone appeared for, and then there was a stairs behind me that other people appeared from,
hmm
as well as people shooting in the window, and it was much just, yeah, felt a lot smaller a map
Yeah,
all of a sudden.
there's a lot more there's a lot less places where you can just hunker down. Like buildings have like 3 or 4 access points. You can't
Yeah.
police them at all.
Yeah.
You probably could have a bit of teamwork, but Looking at this, we're not particularly interested in teamwork here. We're more
Well, that's
interested
it.
in winning the challenge.
The idea of the whole, like, one person covering 3 or 4 exits seems. I think when you know the map and you can run and drill this consistently, you probably will get a better feel for it and an idea of how the enemies are going to be spawning. But if you're
Hmm.
doing this in a group, you want to be doing 3 or 4 different access points, and then one person has to do their sector. So
Hmm.
you could be easily bogged down if all 3 of us stood on the top of the staircase there to cover
Yeah,
fire. Basically, that's the
Yeah,
sort of the trade off, I think.
and
yeah.
love a booby trapping a body there at the bottom of the stairs was a really nice
That
touch.
mechanic is brilliant. I try to booby trap bodies at access points every single round because I thought then if someone comes in, they're obviously deadly.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Sorry, they're deadly traps, but it's a good alarm system for you as well. If you hear the explosion clear and you know where it is, it shows in the mini map and everything where the explosion was. So it's just I thought it was a really good idea to do it. Now we have two snipers. There's one
Oh
on the
no.
top floor of the barn, and this is where I'm talking about the AI because you will notice that the sniper goes in behind hard cover and he does not come out again.
That's it. Yeah,
Because it's a feature.
once they know they've been spotted or they've had a close shot, they'll just go into hide and not move, which is a bit of a pain.
Yeah, I mean, I think his AI just broke because I'm pretty sure he's meant to duck around the corner, wait there a few seconds, and then come back out. But he just doesn't. He never comes back out.
Oh no. Oh no, Tomahawk. What happened with the grenade?
I went to blind throw it and it seemed to just like clip the top of the cover rather than go an arch
Over.
over.
Yeah.
Oh
But I
no.
seem to have had a perk which I wasn't aware I had equipped or done, that if I have a medipack and if I'm bleeding out, a medipack can be
Yes.
used to heal and like self heal
Yeah.
anyway. So
Yeah, so there's different
wasn't aware.
perks that they don't upgrade very often, or you don't get the opportunity to get an upgrade point. But when you do, there's different ones. One is that very technique, or the another one is to be able to take bullets from other guns
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
empty
Okay.
them out. Oh, love it with a melee kill.
It's my second melee kill of the map. I have messed up and I have been chased into this really tall building by 3 or 4 soldiers. I've killed 2 of them, but the third one has come up the stairs, firing through the floor, and it's hurt me. So I went upstairs and I've reloaded. But if you watch this soldier here, he
Yeah.
hasn't chased me up like he's supposed to, like his mates did. He has hung about on the floor below. I thought what he was doing was hunkering down and getting a good angle on these stairs. But if you watch my screen, he's actually just standing there. He's forgotten I'm there and gives me a free kill.
What a hero.
the,
Fair, fair.
the AI does that a lot. And it's only an issue when it becomes close quarters because the enemies are really intelligent in how they move across fields and stuff. They don't wait to be shot at. If they hear a shot, they sort of run, look for any sort of cover, soft, hard. Um, and very rarely do you get like they're not going to run in a straight line either. They do zigzag and running arcs and stuff like that. But once you get close quarters or inside buildings, the AI's not great at all. It
Ah,
breaks. I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know
like
what it
that's the
is.
catch-up
it's
for
like
me.
either hyper intuitive or non. It doesn't seem to have an in between on that
Yeah, it
either.
must. I think it must be an issue with pathfinding because clearly they're pathfinding it for large open spaces to avoid sniper fire because that's the point of the game. I just don't think the pathfinding works indoors at all. At all. You'll see enemies just hide in corners and against walls, and they don't notice when you walk in and things like that. It's a strange one. It's not game breaking by any stretch of imagination. I'm sure it's better in the single player, because I believe this single player is tightly scripted and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It's all
yeah,
very
yeah.
cinematic. Um, but right now we're at the end of this wave, and it's Shockar, another armored vehicle, which are
Yes.
and they are nightmares. There is no Panzerfausts lying around either, so we're gonna have to get creative with how we take this out. Um,
Exactly. We're sort of really limited on resources, and we're to find it out. Okay, grenades do nothing.
That's it,
Uh,
yeah. Even like an underside grenade doesn't do anything. I think a lot of attack has to be focused behind. I think that's where all the soft
yeah,
spots are. And there's
exhaust vents.
and also the two snipers in the barn we haven't
yes, there's
seen
still
or
two
acknowledged
spikers.
because they've
One's
just
This
bugged
is where I
out.
take a look at one now and have a wee pop at, and he's pop right back.
it's nearly like if you're in their direct line of fire, otherwise then the AI just goes, no, I'm not having anything to do with it.
Yeah, there was a couple of occasions we called the enemies a T-1000 because they do just keep coming sometimes. So Cardinal's trying to
Headshot.
kill him, headshot. One's down. I have tried firing through the wall of that barn, thinking it was wood, but it's brick. He has not moved since my shot again on him earlier on this game. Tomahawk and me have the same idea. If he ain't gonna come to us, we're gonna go to him.
Exactly. I figured better get the sentry than have to go one on one with a tank. So
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I opted for
right
pretty
now,
much an easy kill here.
right now, I think I'm coordinating with Cardinal. I think I have some mines that I'm gonna plant down and shoot and try to blow this thing up. But yeah, these armored vehicles, I get it. It's realistic. They would be tough, but they are exceptionally tough. They hit you hard with their machine guns. The only saving grace about it is this one seems to be disabled because of those grenades. It hasn't moved at all. So we have disabled the wheels on it, but its actual armor is impenetrable.
Yeah.
Cardinals trying to
I
shit through the tiny
because I thought that
view window.
I thought that was the same thing that you'd be able to get a headshot in, but it seems that they count the truck as an enemy, so the truck and its occupant at least anyway, so that's what explains the two enemies
Yeah.
remaining then.
So I have laid some mines down. I can't see them. So I've run up to see where I've placed them so I know where I'm shooting. And then I shoot and it does nothing. Absolutely nothing. It is like a stun mine more than anything else. But there we go. The tank has went down. Wave 5 in checkpoint Bravo is done. Currently, there's no change in positions. Cardinals first, Tomahawk second, and I am third. There is absolutely no change. The scores have widened a little bit more. That exploding of the armored vehicle has pushed Cardinal score brave and high, as well as your kills, obviously.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think, yeah, getting the final kill on the vehicle seems to give you a nice little boost, it seems.
Yeah.
It is a
So
lot
this
for
is
someone who says that they don't like shooters an awful lot. He's very good at them.
yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I like sniping. That's good fun.
Yeah, so this is us. We are now in wave 3 of checkpoint Bravo, the last one. All we have to do is kill 34 enemies, and we are on our way to Charlie. But it's
And hang on
34
here.
enemies.
I do like shooters, right? I just think the natural home of the shooter is with a keyboard and mouse. But that's
Oh yes,
historically, right?
nothing says tight, accurate controls than an analog mouse and a digital keyboard. Quite a cardinal. Dual analog sticks. Give me dual
Rollerball
analog sticks or
mouse.
give me death. It's not 1993 anymore. We've moved on. We've moved
Clean
on.
my
So this is it.
rollerball. Yeah.
So the enemies are coming in from a completely new direction. My vantage point is worthless to me here because the window to shoot them is just too narrow. And yeah, this is where things start getting
Hairy.
difficult.
Frantic.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much
Yeah.
so.
The enemies get really aggressive here. The soldiers beeline for you. They know where you are and they make a beeline for you. And they are all over the show. They're run through bars, through buildings. Um, but again, they just sort of find a good position and then do nothing really.
There is one
um,
thing I'll say, and I completely forgot to mention this between rounds. If, say, an enemy transport comes in that's not an armored car, so if it's like a truck or a motorbike or anything like that, it will randomly explode in between waves
if
just
it
so it can
still
clear the
exists,
map. Yeah.
so it can clear the map. Yeah, it's quite funny. I don't know if you two noticed, but when the motorcycle came in, if you have your scope on it, the fuel tank glows red.
Oh yes, it gives you the
Oh,
point of
right.
weakness. Yeah.
It's a weak point. Yeah, you shoot that a couple of times and it explodes completely. And it's a bigger target to hit than the head of the rider or the passenger. But
Nice.
yeah,
Okay.
Cardinal is making a bit of distance between him and Cardinal. There's about 6,000 points in it, and there's 8,000 points between me and him currently. He is on a spree. He's murdering soldiers left and right.
I had a good vantage point for the initial wave, and now that they're sort of being spread about a bit, we're being pinned down because a tank has shown up,
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
me pinned out, so I have to move.
yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah, I'm being pinned down in the central area. They're trying to get into the cache. I'm sort of holding out, but they are coming from everywhere. I've killed 3 or 4 there.
Yeah, it very
Um,
quickly becomes a game not so much about the sniping, but more about the running and gunning. Now I've just thought
mhm.
I've got an angle, I've hit the back, the soft spot of the armor, and straight away the the tank's reticle goes from like orange to red, so it's gone from like
Yeah,
sentry mode to hunter,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm pretty much pinned down behind this like tiny wall that is low to no cover,
Hmm. Yeah, you're just kind of in no man's land there.
waiting for
I
it to
think,
leave me alone. Yeah.
yeah, we are down to 6. We know two of them are in the tank. It's 2,
3.
isn't it?
I
3.
think it's all 3. All 6 are the 2 tanks now.
There's 2 tanks.
Yes, that's right.
That's right. There's 2 tanks here. This battle goes on for quite some time. So I think we can probably skip this because nothing really happens other than 2 tanks
We'll
getting
skim it to
blown up.
the end. We'll skim it to the end, actually, the blowing up of the tanks at least anyway. Have a bit of excitement to end the round.
I don't think there's much excitement to be had here. It's just us lobbing grenades, dropping mines, and trying to provide cover and fire while we move from position to position for one another is what
If
this is.
if I skip it on 5 minutes,
And
you
we're
will see
still
we
shooting
are
the tanks.
Yeah,
shooting
we're still there.
tanks.
So this is the exploding of the tank. I find Panzerfausts that were just hiding out,
Even then,
just in
it
the
blew up.
shadows.
And then about 2 minutes later, you go, "Oh, that tank didn't blow up." And you were happy enough thinking the round was done. And then you sort of realized that, no, that tank is still active.
Yeah, I dropped a
Yeah.
mine on the road. It drove over it and it exploded. And I was like, brilliant, that's that tank done. But all it did was it just blew the treads
Incapacitated,
off
yeah.
of it. Yeah, it just couldn't move anymore, but it was still very much active. Because I stood up and promptly ate a shell, which knocked me flying. And I don't know how it didn't kill me, but it didn't. But I've got
One.
the jump on
Yeah.
a tank there, bang.
Oh, look at
And
that.
yeah,
There
the
we
score
go.
jumps insane. So that is the end of Checkpoint Bravo. Scores in the doors are in first, Cardinal with 33,660. Second is Tomahawk with 26,650. And then me in third with 25,900. I would say it's close. It's close between me and Tomahawk. Not so close between Tomahawk and Cardinal. Cardinal is
Yeah.
the tank kills and the armored vehicle kills are really
Tank
starting to
kills.
show here. Really starting to show. But speaking of shows, I think it's time
Ooh.
to get into round 2 of the internet's favorite game show, the signature game show of High Scores, High Stakes. Let's get back to name that game.
And we're back with Name That Game. Cardinal, do you want to know a fun fact about the state of affairs? It's the first time you've taken the lead all season in Name That Game.
It's the first time I've taken the lead in any season.
Any season?
On New Mexico.
It is impressive.
Well, it's a high scores, high stakes first then. Another record for the history books thing, Cardinal.
The lore deepens.
So let's see if we can extend this lead then. We're going to go into game number 2. And I didn't, my screen grab didn't capture the star rating, but I believe it's a 5-star review.
That's a good review. It's a positive one.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe just wait till I read the review, boys, and judge for yourselves.
Oh dear.
Here I am off the back of 100%ing this game, trophies and all, and what can I say for it? If I realized I'd be playing a game that took all of the Souls games did in their combat and their parry system and took it to the next level, I would have happily paid triple what they were asking for this game. The bowl of food reference for the final meal of Jesus Christ and the Dune reference with the giant worms were genius strokes from the developers, who clearly took time to masterfully put together an endless paradise you can run around in. I'd give this game 9.5 out of 10. The only thing that was lacking is not enough additional characters in the final boss fight, but hoping to see them in the rumored DLCs. That should be with us in 2042 when they have patched some of the small bugs. Cardinal Smith, Mr. Luvva
Oh,
Luvva, name that game.
look, you said Souls games, so I'm on to not a great hope here. So I'm just going to throw out Elden Ring straight off the bat.
Can't be Elden Ring. The person who wrote that review knows what Souls games are, so it says like From Software did, so it's possibly a Souls like not made by From is my rumored DLC taking it to the next level.
Now, when I
Parry
say
system.
when I say DLC, I'm going to give you the date he thinks it should be 2042 by the
Yeah, I
time
heard
they
that.
have patched some of the small bugs.
It's wrong, but just because he mentioned parrying on more than one occasion, I am going to say it is a From Software game, so I'm going against myself here. Is it Sekiro?
Neither of you have named that game. So
Damn.
I'll give you clue number one then, and this may narrow the field a little bit for you. This was scored 23 out of 100 on Metacritic.
Doesn't help.
That's actually low.
Pretty
It's
low.
extremely low.
I remember reading this review and going, I don't think this guy's serious about his 5-star review.
What's reviewed awfully, and is it does it? I mean, the 2042 screams sarcasm. Now that I have that context,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it sounded sarcastic to begin with, but
When he first said it, I just thought he meant the developers have like a history of taking a long time to release
yeah,
DLC. So it scored, what did it score Metacritic? 21
23. 23 is one of the lowest scoring games
of its year.
in recent memory. Yeah.
Right. So I don't know. I have no idea at all.
what's horrendously buggy?
Yeah, parrying characters. I have honestly no clue.
I'm not sure, and I know people didn't like it because it didn't fit the brand entirely the same. But because it has parrying, I'm going to say Final Fantasy 16.
Love that.
Okay. I
It's
am
not what I thought you
going.
were going to say, but there we are. That is
Mm.
a hell of a guess.
I honestly have no idea. I am going to say though, Mortal Kombat 1.
Neither of you have named that game, so I'll give you clue
Damn.
number 2 here, and this is a snippet from from one of the reviews of the game. It has been described as a broken animatronic on a long forgotten abandoned Disney ride.
Read that again.
Described as a broken animatronic on a long forgotten abandoned Disney ride. That's how they've described the gameplay for this.
In the same review.
No, this is
Or-
how a professional reviewer has described this game.
And he described it as a broken animatronic on a forgotten Disney ride.
Yeah.
Okay, I have no idea. Absolutely zero idea. What was the last game you said, Cardinal?
Final Fantasy 16.
Final Fantasy 16.
But that's just because the action, is more action based.
Yeah, no,
with
I
parrying,
get what you said.
dodging,
I just couldn't remember. I didn't want to say a game you've already said. A broken animatronic. Read the original review for me again, Tom.
Read the original review. Okay.
Please.
Toffee.
It's
Here I
this is
am.
really difficult.
Here I am off the back of 100% in this game, trophies and all, and what can I say for it? I realized I would be playing if I had realized I'd be playing a game that took what all of the Souls games did in their combat with their parry system and took it to the next level, I would have happily paid triple what they were asking for. The bowl of food reference for the final meal of Jesus Christ and the June reference with the giant worms were genius strokes from the developers, who clearly took time to masterfully put together an endless paradise you can run around in. I'd give this game 9.5 out of 10. The only thing that was lacking was additional characters that should have appeared in the final boss fight of this game, but hoping to see them in the rumored DLCs that should be with us in 2042 when they have patched some of the small bugs. Now it's a completely ironic. It is now, like reading that the second time around. It is a completely ironic
Yeah.
review.
Yeah. That's why I wanted to hear it again. See if I missed any big details there. Many characters you should have been there
Okay,
against the
so
final
I had
boss.
that one did have a lot of giveaway details, so I've redacted a few words. I've had to
Feel like
redact characters that I had to redact character names in there because that would have given it away, or at least given
Right.
the theme that we're on.
Right. I am going to go with, I don't think it's scored this low, because that's is insanely low score. Because I think Gollum scored higher than 23%. To be honest with you,
yikes.
and I'm struggling to think of a game that is so fundamentally broken it would get 23% on Metacritic. I have no idea. No idea.
So we're going with
Mm.
Gollum.
I don't think it is Gollum, but it's something I can think of.
Okay. Cardinal, have we an
I
idea?
in terms of just bad scoring games, I'm thinking to that scam game that came out and was shut down like within a month, the day before
Oh, the
or
day
something like
before.
that.
No, it is not that. You both have it in the game. I will say your Luvva is probably closer on the right. He's on the right track.
Okay.
So it ties in with I'm going to give you the release year first, and then I'll give you the final clue. So this was released in July 2023, and it has famously, in a cutscene, used JPEG images of their characters and enemies.
Oh,
Is
it's
it
that.
Gollum?
No, it's I said Gollum last guess. It is that
What was it?
King Kong game.
Cardinal, have we anything?
I don't know of a King Kong game, so I Gollum famously used a JPEG.
I
Um,
said Gollum last time.
Yeah, so it is. I gave it to him because I don't think you'll be able to give me the proper
I
title.
have no idea what's called.
Skull Island: Rise of Kong. Yeah, this is one of those
Wow.
completely broken, busted games that they
Yeah.
still charge. This is what cracks me up. They still charge £25 for that game,
Incredible scenes.
and
What a game.
that is on sale. So its full price is still a £40 game. And I hear it like from what I see, it's PlayStation 2 graphics.
It's not even PlayStation 2 graphics, it's Game Boy Advance graphics. It looks like it has the same art direction as the Game Boy Advance Robot Wars game. It is horrifically
Poor,
bad looking.
really bad.
Yeah.
I actually had to like really dig deep to find a review in that was
it's a
going to throw
really
anybody off. It was a
deep cut.
like really, really bad game. Like, and I had to
Yeah.
look at so many screen grabs at it just so I could like really get into the mindset of that review. Like that review is awful.
It's a good review for it's
But
really funny.
Well
that
done.
being said, we are no closer to
No.
separating you guys. It is 5-5 at the end of
High
Name That
five.
Game for this week.
Well,
Knife Edge.
All to play for. All to play for, boys.
it is. It is on a knife's edge. It can go any way. And speaking of games that are on a knife edge and can go any way, let's get back to Sniper Elite 3 for Checkpoint Charlie. And we are back with Sniper Elite 5. We have just completed Checkpoint Bravo. Let's go to Checkpoint Charlie. Let's not beat around the bush here, Cardinal. Let's get those rifles out, sharpen our skills, and let's complete Checkpoint Charlie. This
In we
is
go.
where the game really starts.
Properly
this
ramps
is
up.
where this is where it gets difficult. So we have moved position again. Once again, we have just moved over the street and we are at a church that has been decimated. There is very little hard cover. There is a lot of open space to cover if you want to get to any sort of half decent cover. So all three of us have the same sort of idea. Get as high as we can, and try to get a good vantage point over the map as you can. It is getting real here. It is testing our skills and
Yeah.
everything we've learned from Sniper Elite. Have we learned to drop mines as booby traps? No, we have not. Have we learned to do anything of any sort of value? Probably not. But
I think what we've done is we've put a good application of knowledge into the short space of time that we have been playing it. And I was genuinely surprised we got this far.
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think
So I
that
have just
alone is commendable.
Yeah, I have just made a massive error. I was running along the inside of the church along like a wooden walkway. There was a big gap. For some reason, I tried to jump it, fallen through, and now I am on the ground at the front of the church. And yeah, it's not a place you want to be when there's 26 enemies running around the place and they're trying to get to the church because they know you're there. It's not a place to be, but we're trying to hold out for as long as we can, and let's see how this goes. But right now, I'm catching up with Tom though, and I am
That's
rolling
it,
back to
yes.
checkpoint Bravo. Just like I've had enough of this. This is not going good.
Get out of here.
There's just
I very
enemy
much got to a
soldiers
point
everywhere.
here where having a sniper was completely pointless. Like the second that they run out of your line of sight, your turning speed in scope is so slow, and actually like aiming with the rifle is completely pointless. So I went straight to the machine gun and just thought, just hold them off at the exit, and then try and lure them into the church if it could
Hmm
be helped.
Yeah, I have died. I think. No, I'm still bleeding out. I'm still
Still
bleeding out.
bleeding out. I'm trying to get to you, and I don't know how to.
Yeah, I think at this
There's this
point,
gap in the church. I'm like,
And I think
yeah,
I went to go and find you, and I'm bleeding out now as well.
hmm yeah, they're just everywhere. So they are.
But my plan was, think this is a brilliant idea, is that you can still use your gun if you're bleeding out. But the
hmm
problem is, unlike in the likes of Call of Duty, you are completely prone
Yep.
and you can't reposition yourself.
No,
So
you can't move.
you are bound by a 360 view in where you have stood.
Yep. I have died. Tomahawk is currently very close to dying. Cardinal Smith has just dropped down into a machine gun, and Cardinal Smith has also been knocked down. And because there's no one to revive, that means the mission, the survival mission, has ended in a resounding
defeat.
defeat. We
What I
have
say is
lost prime real estate.
the ungraceful way Cardinal died by just
I know.
falling into my corpse.
I know. One thing I learned from falling through the gap in the floor is the fall damage crazy high. Like, it
Uh,
is high.
I thought I dropped down. I didn't mean to drop down. You fall off an edge, and it gives you like button options to climb up or
Climb up.
drop down. I pressed the wrong button.
Incredible scenes. Incredible scenes. But yeah, that is it. That is the end of the challenge, which means we have to talk about who's come first, who's come second, who's come third. So we'll do that now. That is it. It's over. Checkpoint
It's over.
Charlie really got us got us hard.
My goodness.
Oh, just
that was
relentless.
that was very, very, very quick. But let's get down to brass taxes here. They've seen how it went. We've all seen how it went. It didn't go well. Let's talk about the final scores. And more importantly than that, what does it mean for our league? So let's get into it now. So this overall scores are like this. In third place is me with 20. is me with 26,405 points. In second place is Tomahawk with 29,345 points. But in first place is Cardinal Smith with 37,595 points. So as we stand right now, I'm going home with 1 point, Tom's going home with 2 points, and Cardinal's going home with 3 points. But
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 avid
wait,
listeners will
there's
remember
more.
the multipliers that we were talking about. So the bonus point for revives goes to Cardinal Smith. So Cardinal, you're currently sitting on 4 points.
I like it.
Beautiful. The bonus point for longest kill goes to me. It goes to me with my kill of what 173.6 meters. Impressive. And then the person with the most amount of deaths is Cardinal Smith and Tomahawk, which
Yeah.
means that you're bringing home a -1 each. So what does this mean for the final points? What it means is this. Our scoring system is back, boys. We have a 3, we have a 2, and we have a 1. But it's not in the order you'd imagine. In third place, taking home 1 point after Sniper Elite 5 is Tomahawk.
This
In,
guy.
sec- in second place, taking home 2 points is me. But still on 3 points is Cardinal Smith. So, Cardinal, talk to me.
It's a challenge one. I like it. I like winning. But looking back at that footage, it's literally the checkpoint alpha when the two snipers were knocking each other out, and I was just
Yeah.
picking his up. I think I had 6 revives,
Yeah.
and it was
Yeah.
just
That's
that
it,
point
yeah.
that's given me the win on this occasion. But
Yeah. Yeah. It
Lovely
was.
stuff.
It was a good. It was a really good game. I think we
was.
covered how much we liked it at the start. It is really fun. There's a lot of really interesting mechanics in it. It's really rough around the edges. It is like a classic AA game. It looks kind of AAA, but it's really rough around the edges. It could do with some sanding and some fixing. There is a really fun game in there. I had
Oh,
fun playing it.
absolutely.
I think we all had fun playing it, to be honest.
It's 100% one of those games we wouldn't have picked up in none of us
No,
individually. I don't think had
Oh
it
yeah.
not been a challenge,
Only
and
for
I'm
the
glad
fact
we
that it's
did.
on the PlayStation Plus catalog was the only reason I think I may have pushed a
you
little
did,
bit
yeah,
harder for this one particularly, but I mean, there's a
Because he's
fan
played the
base here,
previous two.
surely, if they've made 5 of them. That's all my thought
100%.
was. There has to be a big fan base for this, and the multiplayer outside of the private games that we did try, I was looking and I could see that there was
Yeah, lobbies.
always lobbies happening, like
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I find the
If
same.
I
There was always people playing it.
if I was to play it again, I would download it specifically with the multiplayer as opposed to the 100 gigabytes it takes to run the campaign and the multiplayer.
Yeah, but I downloaded just a
Chunky.
multiplayer component. It's 33 gigs. So
Like
It,
crazy.
it, it has. I downloaded the full thing. Didn't realize there was an option to. But if anything, I've now got an achievement on my PlayStation Network for shooting somebody in the groin. So
yes, I saw that when it came up in the gameplay there. Great shot. Nice one. But let's talk about what all this adding up of points and taking away points, what it actually means for the league table. And our league table is looking like this. In third place with 17 points is me. In second place with 20 points, Tomahawk. But in first place, there by virtue of challenge wins, also on
oh,
20 points, is Cardinal Smith. So the league table is well and truly condensed. It has
Yeah.
condensed itself something fierce. And we are one episode away from the mid season point of season 4. It is
all to
absolutely
play.
everything to play for. Everything to play for.
It's only got tighter, though. I remember 2 episodes ago, the gap was about 6 points. Last
Hmm.
episode was 4 points. Now it's two separates. It's all.
It's insane. It is what we did say. We had a feeling this would be really competitive because a lot of the games on our games list for the season, very few of them have any of us actually
Put
played
man
before.
hours into, yeah.
Yes.
There's a couple we've all played back in the day,
Yes, and
as
like
a
games we've all played like here and there sporadically throughout the years, but I don't think there's any single game in there where any of us have put in any like proper time into. This is a game we all literally downloaded, played a few rounds, and then hit the record button and went, let what happens
exactly, yeah.
happens.
But I think that's
And
the
no
joy of those
controversies.
challenges. I think that's the joy of these challenges, though, is it gets you thinking and playing on the fly, and
Hmm.
it's adapt improvise as opposed to going, I know every mechanic back to front, eyes closed. So
Yep.
that's it. It's adding a little bit of a zesty dynamic.
Yes. Yes. It's testing pure gaming ability rather than how much of this can you memorize.
Exactly.
And that's what it's all about, boys. That's what it's all about. Do we have any final words for Sniper Elite 5? It's free on PlayStation Plus. You might as well download it and give it a
Well
go. It's,
worth it.
it's more fun than you probably think it's going to be.
I have no idea about the campaign, but that's the survival co-op game. Always servers there, people playing it. I hopped on and it was like immediately into somebody's game, and I was playing with people. And some people were talking to mics, but I wasn't being kicked out for being a new player or anything.
Yeah,
And
It
there's a
was,
lot of cool game modes as well. I know that survival like fits the podcast and it fit the challenge and what we were wanting to do with Sniper Elite, but there's options for like 5v5 like
yeah,
trench wars basically.
yeah,
So I think if you had a full lobby of people, and even if you just played it so sporadically and just played one or two random game modes, even if it's just a shooting gallery, you'd have a good bit of fun with it, I think. And it's a pick up and go kind of game. You don't have to be mad proficient at it as well. So I think boot it up, even if it's just for the multiplayer. Go for it.
give it a go. Give it a go. You've got absolutely nothing to lose. It's free on PlayStation Plus. That is the final words for Sniper Elite. So I say it is time to wrap this up. Let's get the wrap up section. That is it, gentlemen. Another episode all wrapped up. The season is heating up. The league is closing up. It is everything to play for. One challenge win separates us. That is it. If, I don't know, Cardinal, you come third next week and I come first, there's
yeah.
1 point. 1 point. It is insanity. It's never been this close before. And it has stayed relatively close all season. It has never, ever, ever been this close. I am excited for what is coming up because there's a lot of games in there where we have absolutely no idea what we're doing playing it. And that's going to make for some absolutely top tier content for a podcast about playing games competitively against one another. um, Next week's challenge game is completely out of our wheelhouse.
Oh.
None of us have any idea about the game. None of us have any idea about the sport. All we know is that it is America's national pastime. We are going stateside. We are going to play some Major League Baseball, the show 2024. That is the challenge game. I'm not going to tell you what the challenge is, though. If you want to know what the challenge is in the show 24, you know what you have to do. You have to hit that follow button on whatever platform you're listening to this on, and you have to check out Monday's show. So, with all that being said, all we have to do is some housekeeping. So, let's talk about where people can find us all over the internet because, like the spirits in Phasmophobia, we haunt every corner of the internet. If you want to find us on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Discord, Instagram, the whole heap, the easiest place to find all that is highscoreshighstakes.com. On the homepage at the very top, you'll find a link for all of the social medias. Just click it, follow us, hit your back button, go to the next one, and do the same. It all helps out. It's the easiest way of supporting us just by hitting that follow button. If you haven't already and you like what you're listening to and you haven't yet give us a review on the podcast platform you're listening on, please give us a star review 1 to 5, whatever you think it's worth. If you want to go above and beyond even that, a written review, the algorithms love it. That is a massive help to get eyes and ears in the podcast. So consider leaving a written review. If you've done that and you still haven't told a family member or a friend who you think would enjoy the podcast, you have the phone. Just copy that link and send it to them in a messenger app of your choice. And that is that. It is
That
a
is that.
concise close of the episode. It's beautiful, professional, done. You'll think we're 87 episodes deep into a podcast at this point. I think that's where we're sitting at the minute. It's certainly around the 80s mark anyway. But I have nothing left to say except I'm Mr. Luvva Luvva. This is High Scores, High Stakes. Thanks for see you on Monday. Thanks for listening. Love you all. Bye.
Bye.
It's good to be on top.